Well, for more on artificial intelligence and innovations in food production, I'm joined by Matthew Lange, live from Sacramento, California. He's a professional food and health informatician, as well as a research scientist at the University of California, Davis. Welcome, Matthew.
Thanks, glad to be here.
So give us an idea about some of the different ways that you're seeing AI being used successfully in the food and restaurant industries.
It's happening across the spectrum, all the way back to essentially how our food is grown. So we're starting to see people now incorporating specifically flavor outcomes and all aspects of flavor, moving through the supply chain, as well as quality improvements as the food moves through the supply chain, eventually coming into the hands of the chef, whether it's at home or a product developer or in a restaurant. And it's pretty exciting.
So then, from the farm to the table, when it comes to the overall food experience and things like jobs, what does more AI and robot use mean for chefs and servers and restaurant owners, and of course, food critics?
I'm sorry, I missed the last part of what you said.
Sure. So with all this new AI and robots being added to the food industry, what does that mean for jobs when it comes to chefs, servers, restaurant owners, and food critics?
For jobs, well, there are bound to be more jobs. They may not be the same jobs, but they're definitely going to be more jobs. We often think that there won't be jobs when technology comes along because they're going to displace some workers, and we don't always know what those new workers are going to look like. When we displaced carriage drivers, with taxis didn't come along for a while till after the automobile was with us, but more jobs came, and I think that we can expect the same thing with technology and AI, but we don't always know what those look like. So there may be some upheaval, but I don't think that it's going to come as rapidly as folks think, because AI does essentially need to be trained.
And to that point, we actually know that with food regulations changing in China, a lot of mass-produced food manufacturers are turning to AI, using robots as taste testers. The manufacturers say this is saving them millions of dollars. What do you see as the biggest benefits and drawbacks of having these AI taste testers?
Well, taste and flavor in particular, which is slightly different than taste, which is a combination of taste plus aroma, is guided by our culture very much, and what our expectations of what a dish should taste like. We go back all the way back to how we're brought up in our households, and of course our households are more common in cultures to be like each other. So if a robot is trained in one part of the world around certain kinds of tastes, it might not be the same as a robot in a different part of the world. It is fascinating, but there are subjective elements and there are objective elements around recognizing both flavor and aroma.
And it really is a very subjective and, as you mentioned, a very personal experience. And obviously we see that even from differing opinions of food critics when they taste food. Do you see
Sure.
AI eventually being something that can successfully not just replicate, but standardize something that is so unique to each person?
Well, AI itself won't necessarily standardize things. What we work on is a language that multiple AI systems can use to then exchange information with each other. These are ontologies. And so in that way, I think there's going to be a standardization. And the other key aspect of standardizing here is really abstracting out what are the objective measurements, the specific chemicals, the specific resistance in texture when you bite down on something or chew something. But then there's subjective elements. For instance, I can trick you into thinking that a glass of white wine has tannins in it that you would find in red wine, just simply by putting red food coloring in there and building your expectation that there will be some tannins in there. So there's mood, there's the setting, the environment. We can, if you if you have to go to the bathroom, you're going to taste something slightly differently because you're a little bit more stressed. So there's these subjective elements that enter into our tasting and flavor experiences that machines won't experience, and that could be for better, it could be for worse.
All right, thank you for your insights. Matthew Lange there from the University of California, Davis.